By the late years of the Zhou dynasty, its influence was in deep decline. The once supreme emperor was now a mere figurehead. To seize territory and resources, the regional lords engaged in constant warfare, more intense than a modern commuter fighting for a spot on the subway during rush hour. In this chaotic era, a military genius named Sun Wu, likely disgusted by the disorganized fighting, wrote The Art of War around 515 BCE, a guide on how to scientifically and effectively subdue your opponents. In this time of constant conflict, our curator at the Zhou dynasty's palace library, Laozi, felt a deep, unspoken melancholy. He watched as human tragedies unfolded, kingdoms attacking each other for power and profit, rulers suspicious of their ministers, and even family members turning against one another. Faced with these disheartening events every day, he entered ultimate philosophical question mode. Why must humans fight so desperately for things? What is the source of all this power? How can the weak survive in this brutal world? Is there a definitive answer for good and evil? How can a country's leader manage the company, the state, well? And most importantly, what was the origin of all things? Where did everything come from? He scoured all the ancient texts he could access in the library, from the political records of the Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties to the legends of the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. Unfortunately, these books only taught how to govern and perform rituals for spirits, but none of them could answer his ultimate question about the origin of all things. Laozi realized that this was a job no one else could do. He had to find the answer himself. So, Laozi began his philosophical reverse engineering. He first studied human instincts. He discovered that people fight over things because resources are scarce, just like today's limited edition sneakers. Scarcity creates value and everyone wants to possess them. Leaders at the top of the pyramid are worshipped as sages because society holds them up as models of success. Laozi found this system frustrating. He thought, what if I subvert this entire set of social values? His conclusion was, to solve the problem you must go to the root. If people value gold and silver, he would completely disregard their worth. If people worship so-called sages and wisdom, he would advocate for forsaking sageliness and abandoning wisdom, pulling them off their pedestals and treating them as ordinary people. He even proposed an extreme idea, to treat rare and desirable things and the wisdom of sages as if they don't exist. He advocated for a philosophy of tranquility and non-action, where the social value system returns to simplicity, so that people would stop competing with one another. For the weak, Laozi's advice was even more surprising. Don't strive to be strong or dominant. When you let everything be and don't contend, no one can contend against you. This logic sounds a bit like lying flat, but Laozi used a brilliant analogy. The highest good is like water. Water, the softest thing on earth, never argues with any obstacle. Instead, it bypasses, penetrates, and embraces everything. It nourishes all things without taking credit, as if no obstacles ever existed. Laozi believed this non-contention was the highest form of good. On the subject of governing a country, Laozi also had unique insights. He said, governing a large country is like cooking a small fish. You can't constantly stir or add seasonings or you'll burn the fish. You must let everything be and govern with tranquility and non-action, to allow people to live peacefully and in harmony with nature. However, after he solved these human affairs, the most fundamental question re-emerged. What is nature? Where did it come from? Watching the great ship of the Zhou dynasty sink and the world fall into chaos, Laozi decided to resign and embark on an impromptu journey. He set out from Luoyang, the capital of the Zhou dynasty, in a bullock cart heading west. He was going to the ancient western lands where it was rumored Fuxi and Yuhua once lived, to seek ancient legends and the ultimate secret of all things. Around the summer of 516 BCE, Laozi arrived at the Hangu Pass, a crucial point on his westward journey. The pass keeper Yin Shi was a man with a certain sixth sense. That morning he saw a beautiful purple cloud in the east and wondered if the heavens were about to make a big announcement. Sure enough, a bullock cart slowly approached from a distance. When the old man with the big ears on the cart gave his name, Yin Shi had a sudden realization. This was the legendary purple energy coming from the east. A great sage was right before him. Yin Shi was as excited as a fan meeting a celebrity and insisted that Laozi write a book for him. At this point, on his westward journey, Laozi had finally come to understand the secret of the origin of all things. He happily agreed. He took some bamboo slips and a pen and in one sitting, condensed his life's thoughts into a little over 5,000 words in his immortal work, the Tao Te Ching. In the book, Laozi tells the world that all things are born from an ethereal nothingness, and that ultimate existence is the Tao. The Tao was born before heaven and earth, independent of all things, and it cycles endlessly. After all things are born from the Tao, they develop and change through the unity of opposites, yin and yang. Harmony is the necessary path for all things to grow and flourish. Laozi, this cosmic mediator who emerged from a library, used his wisdom to provide an alternative survival guide for humanity in a time of chaos.